Today is a great, wonderful, amazing, incredible day, and I'll tell you why. Because it's a Dutch day, but not just a normal Dutch day, but a Dutch cultural day. Why the Dutch always say what they mean. Without further ado, let's get into this reaction. Let's go.
I'm afraid I can't make it because I'd be travelling there especially for you. A Dutch contributor recently responded to a meeting request. Blunt and very honest. A stark contrast to how we speak in the UK.
It really is. I know probably to you that might seem really simple. You've like clearly said, I can't make it because really bluntly and very honestly. But in the UK, we just don't do that. I'm sure they'll explain it in this. Like, we're just so different. It's weird.
British people and Americans and others to some extent tend to sort of dance around the issues.
If you are vague or not direct, then people will say, well, come on, let's be honest so we can move on.
I was born in the Netherlands but grew up in the UK, so I've always noticed the two extremes. British politeness and Dutch directness. But how much truth is there to this stereotype?
I think it's pretty.
The Dutch are known as being direct, which means that the style is that the messages are quite precise and clear. They say what they mean what they say. So yes is really yes, and yet no is really no. Tomorrow is really tomorrow. Whereas in most other countries, the communication style is indirect.
Yeah, maybe always means no. Possibly means probably not.
Yeah.
The Dutch people tend to be much.
Maybe means a no. Possibly means probably not. We literally, we're like that all the time. We're non-committal. We're like in between, ambiguous. You have to read between the lines. So we won't say to you no. We'll say not really or maybe. Do you hear the tone of my voice? Maybe. Maybe means no. The way I'm saying maybe right now is no. Maybe. Whereas you guys will be like, no, I don't want to do that. No, I can't do that. You're very direct, and that's better, especially when it comes to a working environment. Oh my God, do not come to this country. For my Dutch people, don't come here and work. Oh my God, it's so frustrating. You're constantly having to read between the lines. You don't know if you've done something right or you've done something wrong. You don't know. It's very underhanded comments. Like, no one is direct. And I think if people were more direct in the UK, things would run a little bit more efficiently. So yeah, for a working environment, it's terrible. With your friends, maybe it can be okay because we tend to be a bit more sensitive. Does that make sense? So we don't hurt people's feelings as much. However, when it comes to the working environment, I think the Dutch, you guys have got it. You've got it good because at least you understand when you've done something wrong.
Or, well, what they would say recht door zee, straightforward, telling things how it really is, which can come as a bit of a surprise to outsiders.
Author Ben Coates grew up in the UK but has lived in the Netherlands for over a decade.
I remember just in my first couple of weeks living in the country, I went and got a haircut and then went back to work afterwards. And the first thing one of my colleagues said was, it looked better before you went for a haircut.
Dutch directness comes from a...
I quite like that though. I quite like that. I like that. Be honest. Be honest. I love honesty because I love communicating. Me and my partner, we communicate quite a lot. And communication's key, like, to life. So, like, I think I'd like the directness of Dutch people.
Long history of diplomacy, which benefits the Netherlands to this day.
The direct communication style is part of the consensus culture.
The Netherlands was formed based on Calvinist roots going back hundreds of years and became a great trading nation and a very successful wealthy nation during the 17th century golden age. You have a political culture which is extremely focused on consensus and compromise here.
So people learn to share ideas and come up with own opinions. And it was needed to be honest about your ideas and your thoughts and your opinions so they could find out a common solution. And that still is. It is deep-rooted and it's still a part of the communication style.
I went to meet business psychologist Aukje Nauta, who explains that this cultural stereotype means the Dutch sometimes come across as rude.
I think that the Dutch are perceived as more direct because we use less often words like please, could you please, should you, and that explains why we come across as less polite.
Yeah.
In the Netherlands, being polite is as important as in England.
Yeah. It's not that you're not being polite. It's just that you maybe you skip the formalities, right? You skip the oh sorry, please, thank you, all that sort of thing, because you just want to get things done efficiently, and you trying to be helpful can come across quite direct, maybe. Do you know what I mean? Helpful in the sense of trying to like clear up exactly what you mean clearly, and yeah, it's a cultural thing, I think. But do you know what's important for people to do before they go to another country? And I always do this. This is why I got this channel. You learn about that culture before you go. You have to learn the customs of the countries that you're going to. You can't just arrive there and just expect to understand things, because different cultures have different etiquettes. Like, I used to live in Thailand. I keep saying that. I used to live in Thailand. They have a culture of, if you think the UK not direct, I don't know if any, have you been to Thailand? Oh my God, my Dutch people, you will stress, because they are the masters of not being direct. They're all about polite. They're all about not ruffling feathers. So much so that it affects productivity. So say if you went to a store, this is a real scenario. I went to a store to look for, I don't know if it was a phone case or something. And I went into the store, and I already looked online. I knew this store had this particular phone case. And I went to the store clerk and I said, "Oh, do you have this?" And I showed the phone case to this person, the person that works at the store. I said, "Do you have this phone case?" And they said to me, "Oh no, we don't have that. We don't sell that." I was like, "Oh really? It's on your website. We don't sell that. We don't sell that here." I was like, "Okay." Me living in Thailand, I know what the majority of Thai people are like culturally when it comes to asking. They don't want, okay, so basically, let me finish the story. So when she said, we don't have that, I went to have a look around the store, and long story short, I found the phone case. In the store, they sold this at the store. Remember, she told me they don't sell this phone case. They don't sell it, okay? The reason why I decided to look myself, search for the phone case to find it, is because I know that Thai people culturally would rather lie to you, rather lie to your face, like bluntly, than to disappoint you. I know that sounds strange, but it's culturally a thing. They would rather lie to you than disappoint you. So they'll say to you, "We don't have that," even though they do. It's just that that person they don't want to seem like they don't know something, because it's all about saving face. Have you ever heard that saying, saving face? Yeah. It's really hard to explain for even as a British person, and we're not very direct, but for a Dutch person, I can imagine if you went to Thailand, you would be like, what the hell? Why don't they just say what they mean? They don't say what they mean. They'd rather lie to you to then say what they mean. Honestly, they're the extreme. Do you know what I mean? They're the extreme when it comes to directness. They're on the other spectrum. Like, I can't imagine that combination: a Dutch person and a Thai person. Wow. But yeah. But this is why you need to learn. That's what I was going to say. This is why you need to learn about other cultures before you go there, because then you're not going to have that culture shock. Obviously, it's still going to be shocking because you're not used to it. But at least you know beforehand that they're not trying to be rude, or a Thai person's not trying to lie, or a Dutch person's not trying to be rude. You just know that, oh, that's cultural, you know? Because sometimes you can take offense and think, is it me? Is it they don't like me for me? But it's not. It's because that's just how you guys operate.
Meant to be honest and clear, but it's often perceived as being rude and even arrogant.
The reason why cultural comparisons are problematic is that it leads to stereotyping. This means that when you look at a Dutch person as very rude and direct, you are not that curious about what kind of person he or she is.
Absolutely.
And I think it's important to be curious after each other, because then you can make much better connections than when you put someone in a box.
Absolutely.
Instead of being really interested in a person.
I agree.
When it comes to everyday conversations, this expectation of directness can result in some unfortunate misunderstandings.
Well, the Netherlands, when they speak and learn English and when they translate the English language, they will literally translate it. If you have a business proposal and the Englishman or woman says, well, that's very interesting, I will have a look at it, we really translate that, oh, that's interesting, so they are interested. While it could also mean, well, I'm not interested and it's a bad idea.
You can never just straight up say
imagine?
that someone's...
Can you imagine? That's very interesting. You're like, yeah, thanks. But then really, it's not interesting at all. That would be very confusing. I'm very sorry, Dutch people, that we're just not direct like that. It's really bad.
Work is not good. That instinct is quite deeply ingrained in British society. It also extends to just trying to avoid causing offence and always saying things in the nicest possible way.
And then the challenge...
It's so tiring, guys. Honestly, working here is very tiring. Always having to apologize. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, sorry if I offended you. Oh, I'm sorry. But no one's really sorry. No one's really sorry. They're not sorry. They're just saying sorry because it's etiquette to say sorry in this country. I know, right? God, I need to move out. Maybe I need to. Can I move to the Netherlands? Maybe I should just move to the Netherlands. We've already got a friend that lives in the Netherlands. Maybe we should just move because, yeah, the UK, especially the working environment, can be very confusing unless you know how to read. And even if you don't know how to read between the lines, sometimes wires get crossed. You really don't know what someone's true intentions are in this country.
For Dutch people is to find out what the real meaning of the words is. And we can both speak English, but it doesn't mean that we get the real message.
For example, there's a British sort of tick of saying, oh, you must come for dinner, or we must do it again sometime soon, when obviously the last thing you mean is that that person should come for dinner next week.
Do you see what I mean? Oh, you must come for dinner again. Oh, you must. We definitely need to sort something out, or we need to meet again. Like, we need to arrange something. We need to arrange something. You see how it's very ambiguous. We need to arrange something. And we don't mean we need to arrange it. It's like, oh yeah, at some point we will arrange something. That literally means I probably don't want to meet again anytime soon. But maybe we will, maybe we won't. Very non-committal, very like, I'm not saying that I want to meet you again. It's not good. Yeah, it's not good. It's very confusing.
Whereas Dutch people would naturally, inevitably tend to take those kind of statements more literally, I think, and the invitation will be in your inbox the next day.
And also, of course, for the people in the UK, it's challenging to not be that shocked because of the directness.
A British person would see sort of hedging around a difficult issue or politeness and civility, whereas a Dutch person might see the same thing as being actually dishonest. It's not just undesirable, but actually an unpleasant thing to do for a Dutch person.
Yeah.
You can see traces of this type of transparency all over the Netherlands. How people queue, leave curtains open for passers-by to peep inside, and even how they normalise nudity.
So fascinating. I find the curtains open for everyone to see very fascinating. In the UK, that's very much, you don't do that. You close your curtains, especially at night. I mean, you have them open. Okay, I'm saying close the curtains. You have them open to let light in during the day. But as soon as the sun goes down, those curtains are shut. You don't display what's going on in your house. It's just cultural. And nudity is also frowned upon in the UK. Massively so. Nudity is very much frowned upon in the UK. I think out of all the Western nations, I think we are the most prudent when it comes to nudity. Yeah, because when I think about nudity, I think about Northern Europe, Sweden, Finland, Denmark. They're very much Norway. They're very much into going to the sauna and stripping off and being pretty much naked in the sauna communally. Very liberal. The Germans, again, very, very liberal. They, got quite, especially in Berlin, the nightclub culture and the sex culture, there you go. Netherlands, I don't know, I feel like Spain even, there's loads of nudist beaches in Spain and Southern Europe. I just think the UK is probably the most prude country in Europe. Yep, I do. I really feel that way because nudity is a no-go in this country. Sad, really.
I think to some extent the Dutch are less prudish than the British when it comes to
There you go.
swimming naked or going to saunas or those kind of things. Go to a popular beach in the Netherlands on a sunny day and you sometimes feel like there's more naked people there than people with swimming costumes on.
When you can't show your body, the consequence is you associate nude bodies with sexuality. Whereas when you change clothes at the beach and you see a little bit of nakedness, then it's just ordinary. It normalizes a naked body.
Although I should say,
I really like that because the problem is I am traumatized. Is it traumatized or just socialized in this country? Nudity is a bad thing. So we are taught to be ashamed of our bodies and to cover up. And then if we do get naked, only time we're naked around another person is if it's a sexual thing. And I don't think that's healthy at all. I think the way that you guys deal with nudity is the right way. And I wish we were more like that, but we're not.
I mean, I think it's hard to be more prude than the British when it comes to that stuff. So I'm not sure how much of it is just the Dutch being more normal and the British being excessively prude, but there probably is a big difference there.
Did you hear what he said? He doesn't know how much it is the British being abnormal and actually the Dutch, you guys being normal. I think if you look, like I said, out of all the European nations, we're the only nation really that has a problem, the UK, and I'd say Ireland as well, we're the only ones that have a problem with nudity, whereas the rest don't. So I think it's a us problem. I think that's an us problem.
So if you really want something, just say it how it is. Just be aware that some people may mistake your honesty for rudeness. And remember, if you say, "We must meet for dinner" to a Dutch person, they really will expect an invite.
Yep. Yeah, wow, that was eye-opening in the sense of just looking at how different we are culturally to you. I mean, we have more similarities than not, but that specific cultural thing is so different. We are so close as countries when it comes to like distance. We are very close as countries. However, that cultural thing is a big thing. It's a big thing. So yeah, I don't know. When I come to the Netherlands, it's gonna be really interesting because I'm gonna notice it now. I'm gonna notice the bluntness, the directness, the kind of I'm gonna notice it. And it makes sense you were saying about when you guys translate Dutch into English, it doesn't translate in that sort of kind of ambiguous way. It's very blunt. No means no. Yes means yes. There's no in between, So I get it. I understand why it can come across as blunt when you mean something. But when you mean something, you really mean that. And I appreciate that. I know if a Dutch person tells me something, they mean it. They're not lying to me. You're not lying to me. You're not sugarcoating it. You're not being all ambiguous. You're telling me how it is. And I appreciate that, my lovely Dutch people. Right, guys, thank you very much for watching. Make sure you subscribe, like, and comment. And until the next one, I'll see you very soon.